What's up, guys? I got another game for you here today, my fellow nerds. You guys will notice this probably looks very similar to my last video because these are games that were played back to back. Interestingly, same side, same factions, same opponent. But I think for the sake of transparency and also just like, I really wanted to show you guys this game because I think it showcases the caliber of players at this level, the decision making, the adaptation. If you haven't watched my previous video, it's great context for this one. And I just wanted to show it and kind of talk through it, talk about some of the different decisions that were made by both players in this case, myself and Seocheon. So with that, we'll jump into it. So same opener as my previous video. You know, I'm leading with the bike, starting with the 250. Worked pretty well for me last time. I'm anticipating a similar composition start from Seocheon. So I think in this case, I'm actually going to zoom a little bit faster through this video to highlight the decisions because there are a lot of similarities. So I don't want to provide a lot of repeat content, but I really wanted to bring this video to you guys because I want to showcase the differences between this one and the last one. It's just a little interaction. Seocheon was in my chat. I was actually streaming this game. By the way, if you guys are on Twitch, I'm on Twitch streaming there regularly, so don't hesitate to come over there. So similar opener here. Just engaging. You know, just create distance anytime you're dealing with a scout squad. But I'm going for the same capture opener here. Opted not to go for the mine because I'm anticipating that he's not going to go for a Jeep because he went for the SNG start. And I'm just going to get an earlier sweeper in this particular case. Same opener, Panzer Grenadier. I'm pushing straight to his fuel with my 250 because I want to interrupt the capture. Denying this fuel super early to your opponent, especially on Taranto Coastline, can really impact their early game momentum. And I want to slow down his M3 as much as possible. So, and again, this also ties into what I said in my last video, which is if you're going to build light vehicles, build them as early as possible. Because the later you build them, the shorter window you have to deal with, the shorter window you have to get the most potential out of them. If I build this 250, you know, after my Panzer Grenadier, I'm going to have to contend with this bazooka squad that just hit the field, right? So in this case, you know, I'm going for the 250 super early. I went straight from my +10 to his +10, and I'm interrupting this capture here. I also want to call it an integral difference between this game and the last one is because I saw his scout in the middle, I knew that he wasn't using the scout to capture up this side of the map. And that was what gave me the wherewithal to go for this +10 fuel point and interrupt the capture that I know is slower on the engineers. Because I believe scouts capture like 25% faster or some value like that than standard units. And so I knew that he wasn't going to be quite finished the capture of this +10 fuel point. And that was what gave me the opening to disrupt it here. So a little bit of missed opportunity. Should have microed this bike in here a little bit sooner. He's going for a double machine gun opener plus the bazooka squad, which I have not seen yet. But again, you know, this 1919 is very capable of dealing enough penetration damage to the 250. Getting my Panzer Grenadier into the hard point here. This is one of the best cover positions on the map, especially when you're attacking the +10 fuel up here in the north. I got super lucky that his bazookas missed. Bazookas have terrible accuracy against the bike because it's so small. But still, either way, I got very lucky there. So he gets his machine gun into green cover position to shoot at the building. I actually step out of the building because I don't want to be taking that fire. And I just want to buy time for my engineers to capture this territory point. Again, I'm bringing it. So now I'm going to ferry in my assault grenadiers. Unfortunately, I'd run directly into his bazooka squad, so I'm going to pull those guys out. Thankfully, he repositioned his machine gun to face the south. We're going to push in here. He rotates this machine gun to support. That's where having the two machine guns comes in very handy. kind of lose track, unfortunately, of this this engineer squad and end up losing them here. Staying outside of the machine gun arc, focusing on the flamethrower because that's the biggest threat to my assault grenadier at this point. We actually managed to pick up the kill. So even though we lost the Panzer Pile, it was a pretty even trade. But I always say, like, DAK units, losing DAK units is always worse than losing another unit. Because everything's so much more expensive, and it's, you know, with the number of units I have on the field, every single one matters a lot more. Whereas, you know, you can see in Seocheon's case, he's very easily able to rebuild this assault engineer with very little consequence. So propping the healing on my 250, getting back on the field here. I'm going to stay on the offensive here and try to continue to interrupt his fuel. Taking advantage of the assault grenades, even though I am suppressed here, I'm still able to get them off. Trying to see if I can secure the kill on this engineer squad. Not quite. Manages to get away. I've got my sweeper here on my 250. Decapturing this point with the assault grenadiers. He's going for another bazooka squad. And I got my fast Stug D, same as last time. Planting a nice early mine here. Suppressing with my MG34. Again, same composition on my part as last time. I thought maybe I could pick up the kill, but that was a massive loss on my part. I mean, the captain 30 caliber that they carry, the handheld one, does pretty good penetration on the 250. He got some good shots in from that bazooka squad. And I ended up losing not just the 250, but 4 of my assault grenadier models. So that was a very, very expensive loss there. And I also now have no healing because I've lost my 250. Again, just trying to buy time here. Keeping control of that fuel. I'm going for a similar composition as last time. Just leading with the Stug D to manage these machine gun teams. Focusing my attention on the bazooka squad instead. Taking quite a few penetrating hits from this bazooka team. Decided to go for another squad of assault grenadiers this time. In hindsight, I feel like a second Stug D probably would have been a better choice here, similar to last game, so that they could kind of protect each other, anchor for each other. And this is going to cost me, I think, in terms of bleed over the course of the game. But I was thinking I could bring in this assault grenadier, flush out this machine gun team, and recapture that plus 10 fuel point. So I was using this for tempo purposes more than anything. But yeah, looking back on it now, I'm not 100% sure this was the right decision. A little bit different than last time, a little bit of variation, relatively speaking. And I want to call out here, so we can see the first core difference between this game and last game for Seocheon is that he's gone for motor pool and he's building a Chaffee, which I actually think is a great decision. We'll see over the course of this game why. But Chaffee, very fast, very mobile, stronger penetration at close range than the GMC. You can be much more aggressive with it. And then we can also see here he's going for a third machine gun, similar to last game. Assault Grenadiers not trading super great here with the Flamer Engineer. I still think Flamers are too strong, personally. And again, he's doing a great job using his scout to spot for his machine guns, using the machine guns to control the center position. Tried to get the flank on, but just wasn't able to do it because of the volume of machine gun teams that he had here. I also want to call out here, I still have not seen his Chaffee, so I don't know that he has it. I'm anticipating like a GMC similar to last time, but Seocheon just did a fantastic job of evolving his strategy, knowing what he knew from the previous game that he had just lost against me. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the last game. And as soon as I realize there's a Chaffee, I'm like, oh my god, I have to get out of here. I have nothing. So I snare the Chaffee. I back away as quickly as I possibly can. And now I have to think about how I'm going to deal with this Chaffee threat. Tried to get a grenade on there, but he was doing a good job of retreating quickly. And in this case, we're going to get forced away. Seocheon with a second Chaffee in production. I'm going for a Martyr to supplement my current composition and provide some anti-tank threat. Doing a good job of managing the VPs at this point. I've got them down to 225.
We have lost control of a victory point.
And again, these machine guns, just the machine gun and bazooka squads, just like an absolute menace to my composition. Because I cannot effectively push into him with infantry, which means I have to deal damage with vehicles, which is going to give him an opening to hit me with the bazooka squad. So like just such a strong composition on his part. And now he's getting in, he's getting aggressive with these Chaffies. I hit him with the Martyr, but does a good job of using smoke. I think he actually picked up the kill on my bike here, which is unfortunate. And I think in, again, response to what I was seeing. So my line of thought at this point is if I get a second Martyr and he continues this Chaffee train, I'm not going to be able to tempo build these as fast as he can build these Chaffies because he's got War Machine, right? War Machine for US forces is going to make these Chaffies, how much do they cost? 225 manpower. So a little bit cheaper than my Martyrs in terms of manpower. He's going to be able to tempo build these very quickly. He also has much cheaper infantry units than I do. Like these are much less expensive to reinforce than my Assault Grenadiers, my Panzer Grenadier. So I'm thinking I need a turreted vehicle to help me manage these Chaffies and the flanks that they're going to attempt. And so I'm going to, rather than start to go down the tree towards the loiter, I'm saving here for the Panzer IV, support tank. I also go for a Panzerjäger to provide additional anti-tank support. I'm not going for the Martyr here again because if he gets the flank on me with a couple of Chaffies, because they are so fast and have great acceleration, I'm not going to be able to rotate even with two of them to manage the vehicle threat. So I'm thinking the Panzerjäger is going to be a much better omnidirectional anti-tank option. But again, thinking back on this game, I actually think a pack might have been a better choice. Again, because similar reasons that I mentioned for last game, there's not a lot of direct threats here to a pack. It has extra range, and it deals more damage than these Panzerjägers. So I actually think this was a poor decision on my part.
We do not hold any victory points. How could this happen?
And again, these are a little bit susceptible to the machine guns because they are much shorter range. He's doing a good job of harassing my top fuel points here. I managed to secure one of his 1919s, which will come in handy. And he's also gone for an AT gun to support his Chaffee train here. So at this point, I'm just going to save for my Command 4 Panzer tank. Panzer 4 tank, excuse me. Rotating my Assault Grenadiers to try to get the flank in here on the machine gun team that I know is facing the wrong direction. Resecuring this victory point. And I'm just trying to tick him down at this point. We're sub 200 VPs. So that's what we're aiming for. We can see Seocheon here going for the improved bazooka rockets. I think, again, this is a great time for that tech. Getting my Assault Grenadiers in here. Chaffee's coming in. Stugdi continuing to anchor here in the middle. And I'm going to start pushing towards his VP with my infantry because I know most of his infantry is down here somewhere. I spotted most of it in that last engagement. So I'm going to take this opportunity to try and capture as many points as I can. So we've got our command tank on the field. This is going to provide a little bit of extra protection in terms of armor against the Chafees. It also has a turret, so it's also going to be able to deal with those Chafees as they try to flank. And again, just big wave of infantry coming in here, using the machine guns to suppress my assault grenadiers, bleeding me very effectively. Getting forced away by the anti-tank gun that Seocheon's built.
Victory point under enemy control.
And I'm feeling pretty choked at this point. I'm feeling pretty like I need to close this game out, because if it continues, then I'm probably going to start to struggle with the volume of Chaffees that he's got to counter my composition. Went to go plant a mine. Got completely popped by all his anti-tank weapons. But I'm just trying to get on top of him with the assault grenadiers, try to deter the machine gun and the anti-tank gun. Engaging frontally here with the Stug. Panzer Grenadier in, or Panzer Jaeger, sorry, in here to support. Using my Flampanzer where I know he's not at the moment, but he actually does a great job of coming in here, cutting in on the flank. Chaffee's again very fast, and he catches me out of position here. I try to save it with a snare, but it's not going to be enough. The Chaffees are just too fast. Another Chaffee, and now he's coming in, and I can see him coming. So I'm going for the quickest response that I have to this new threat, which is another squad of Panzerjägers. Again, thinking back on it, I think a Pak 38 might have been a better choice, but I need to deal with the threat immediately, and I'm just trying to hold the VPs, but he has effectively committed everything. He's in my base with the Chaffees. And now I'm just like, man, I gotta hold this down. I think this was a mistake on my part. I should have stayed and tried to smoke this, because if I can manage to deny the capture here in the center, then there's actually a good chance that I can finish him off in VPs, because this is only 23 seconds of ticking down. And if I can deny the capture on one of these VPs and maintain control of two of them, I might have been able to finish him off. But that was a mistake that I made. I was pretty, from a morale perspective, I was pretty crushed at this point, because he basically just drove in with Chaffees and killed everything. Yeah, another wave of Chaffees coming in. Not able to push into these MGs, unfortunately. And he just chases me right into my base with the Chaffees. And we're in shambles at this point. You can see the army difference here. His Scott managed to kill off one of my machine gun teams.
The enemy holds all victory points. Launch a counterattack at once.
And I'm pretty much crushed at this point. Very frustrated, because I made a lot of wrong decisions when it came to dealing with this threat. I think Paks would have been better than Panzerjägers. And potentially going for loiter here earlier probably would have been a better choice also. But we're in with the situation. We're in the situation we're in. Trying to push into the VP where I can. This Chaffee's kind of just coming in and steamrolling me at this point, and we're so far behind that it's going to be pretty difficult to get our way back in. But I'm thinking if there is a way, it's going to be through getting some kills on these Chaffees through the loiter. That is our best choice here.
Enemy forces hold all victory points, Commandant.
Trying to get getting the flank in here with the assault grenadier, because I found out where he is. I hit a mine. Great mine by him to protect the flank of the machine gun. And we got him down to 8 VPs. So I'm just thinking about how can I get on top of 2 VPs to try to close this out. Trying to get the flank on the machine gun here, but he's got the perfect arc to deal with me oncoming at this point. Probably should have moved around the outside here with my P4 in hindsight to try to get him to pack up so I can push him with my assault grenadiers. But he spots me out with the Chafees, my command P4. I use the loiter as a deterrent. I think he actually does the right thing in backing away. I don't even know if we got the second strafe off. No, we don't. So now I've spent my loiter. My command P4 is super low. Did I go for tier 4 at this point? I don't think I did. I did not go for tier 4. It's too poor. And at this point, I can kind of see the writing on the wall. I mean, he's basically pop capped. I'm at like 50%. There's no vehicles that I can build that are going to be able to manage triple Chaffee. So we're going to try to make one final push here into the top VP. Or maybe the middle VP. Yeah, because because I saw his Chaffees up here, I was thinking maybe I could get into this point. But he's got anti-tank guns here. He's got bazookas. And there you have it. So, I mean, great adaptation from Seocheon. Definitely some poor decisions on my part. And I threw away, I think it was like 300 VP lead to 8. I probably could have tried to close it out if I'd focused a little bit more on the VPs and less on the combat. But yeah, there you guys have it. Same opponent, played this game right after the first one. He did a great job of adapting his build. I did not. I did not respond correctly to the choices that he was making. I think the packs probably were the right play on my part. Rather than the Panzerjägers. I don't really think these guys are in a great spot right now. They don't scale very well. It takes 5 volleys to kill one of these Chaffees with a Panzerjäger, which is a lot. So yeah, all around, great adaptation from Seocheon. Poor decisions on my part led to me throwing away a massive advantage that I had in the early game with controlling this +10 point and the top of his spawn. So he played really well. I got to give him some credit. And I was pretty frustrated trying to deal with these machine guns. I think he had 5 over the course of the game. We'll get to the end stat screen. And I know I went through that one relatively quickly. I just wanted to kind of post this as a follow-up to the last game that I posted because I feel like, I want to give some credit to Seocheon. Like he played, he played differently in a way that was counter to how I played in the previous game. It was a great response. He learned some lessons. He adapted his build and he was properly aggressive, which was my main criticism of him in the last game. And it worked out for him. It worked out really well. He totally mopped me at the end of the game there with the Chaffee rush. So there you have it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll definitely, I'll post more losses as I feel like if the games are good, I'm not hesitant to post and learn from my own failures and my own mistakes. But I know this was a bit of a shorter one. I kind of zipped through the replay a little bit faster than I normally would. But because it's, a very similar game to the last one, but I wanted to highlight the key decisions that were made on both sides that led to a very different outcome by the end, right? So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great day.